Dear Diary, it's the 23rd day since my arrival, and I've finally managed to calm down a bit. 2 days ago, I visited the Tiri ambassador. They are an intriguing species, entirely different from the Vannery. The Tiri resemble bipedal cats with fish scales instead of fur. Their ears are on the sides of their heads, large and bat-like. I was particularly struck by how tall the ambassador was, towering over the servants who were the size of an average human man. The ambassador's height matched that of the princess. Though I'm still uncertain, the ambassador's behavior was undeniably suspicious. One servant, in particular, loitered around constantly, giving me a strange feeling, though I found no concrete evidence. In hindsight, I'm not sure what I was looking for, driven by anger as I was. Perhaps I should have planned better, but my suspicions of the ambassador have certainly deepened. Once the guard captain returns, I'll inform him about my concerns. Maybe he can uncover something. Although due to the intricacies of nobility, the ambassador is essentially untouchable without irrefutable evidence. This makes interrogating her difficult until the princess wakes up. Until then, I'm the only one who can speak to her without causing a political incident. If she is behind this, I hope my visit made her anxious enough to act recklessly, though I doubt she's that foolish. Nevertheless, I'll instruct the guards to be vigilant, and I'll brief the captain when he returns. Later, when Guy entered Nain's room, she was accompanied by two maids who brought in an assortment of food. Nain, a small alien, was perched on a pile of pillows on her chair, writing something. Upon Guy's entrance, Nain inquired, "Is she better?" "Yes," Guy confirmed. "Her readings are stable, and there are no significant traces of calcium left. The damage to her body will take time to heal, but there's nothing to worsen her condition. Even with monitors detecting the slightest anomaly, all she needs now is to wake up and rest." Guy paused, then added, "You really saved her life that night. You should be proud." Nain closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "Not until I bring this matter to a close. But speaking of rest, shouldn't you rest too?" "I have," Guy replied. "I've caught up on sleep, and this work helps clear my mind." Nain chuckled. "You sure love your research. I'm the first in the Alliance to study a foreign sapient species in who knows how many generations," Guy said with a shrug, sharing in Nain's delight. They enjoyed the moment in silence until Nain sighed, "You know, Stella would have loved meeting you." "CLA?" Guy repeated, unsure of the name. "Claire Asmo, a biochemist from Belgium. She's part of the colony program, the youngest among the adults. We talked a lot. She once missed an important assignment because she discovered something during a test and got so engrossed that she almost got kicked out of the program. She's incredibly dedicated to her work. Fair warning, though, when she's not buried in research, she's as hyper as a squirrel on caffeine. You must meet her if we ever get the chance." Seeing Nain's sadness, Guy tried to comfort her. "I'm sure they're fine. Other Alliance members may have found them already. News just travels slowly beyond the hyperlanes. Let's change the subject, okay?" Guy then handed Nain two small containers. "Here's the new recipe you asked for. This one is with Tyro, and that one without." Nain smiled. "I wouldn't exactly call a smoothie a recipe. It's strange you guys never thought of it, but I hope these fruits work together. It would be nice to have something good and easy, especially for training." Taking a sip, Nain immediately put the container away. "It's liquefied, mixed with other stuff, and still tastes like dry flour. What is wrong with that stupid tuber? It screams nutrients. There has to be a way to make this edible." Slightly frustrated, she took a big gulp from the other container. Nadine took a sip, then stopped and made a confused face. "Huh, that doesn't taste like I thought it would. Is that really just the fruits I listed? I didn't make it, but it should be." She took another gulp. "There's an aftertaste I can't really assign to any of the fruits I tried. Maybe some things in there react weirdly." She drank some more. The fruity flavor is too strong. I can't really discern it. I feel like I know this taste from somewhere, but I can't really put my finger on it." She thought a bit more, but seemingly didn't reach a conclusion. She emptied the rest in one go. Still wasn't bad, so no worries. "Anyway, is there something else that's new?" One after another, Guy went with her through the meals the staff had prepared this time. Right before the assassination attempt on the princess, Nadine had given a couple of new suggestions, so there were indeed some new things she hadn't tried yet. By now, they had figured out a decent amount of food the small alien could consume. Whether it was what she needed to consume was a different topic. Occasionally, Nadine recognized the names of some of the nutrients, but this simply wasn't her field of expertise. Could she maybe feel that her body was missing something, and because of that was so obsessed with it? Guy explained more about each meal while Nadine quietly listened, though sometimes she seemed to giggle for no apparent reason. Some time passed until they had finally gone through everything. Finishing her meal, Nadine got up, but she somehow lost her balance and tumbled a bit to the side before getting a hold of the wall. She giggled again. "Are you all right?" the doctor asked, surprised. Nadine had always shown impressive balance, so this was unusual. Yeah, I'm fine." That was about the last response Guy had expected. "Are you sure? Because you don't sound fine." "Ah, come on. You gonna be a stickler when I'm done with the Columbo?" she grumbled. Was her translator glitching out? It had worked fine just now. It had to be the translator, though physical speech impairment wouldn't get through the translator, so something had to be wrong either with the device or with her brain. "Oh no, Nadine, look at me." "Huh? Why? Hey, who's your sister? Was she hallucinating now?" "Nadine, I think something is wrong with your food. Come, we need to go to my office." Nadine tried to say something else, but this time it was completely unintelligible. She got away from the wall but lost her balance again, crashing into one of the food trays and breaking it in the process. She didn't get up afterward but simply lay in the wreckage. "Nadine, Nadine." No response. Guy hurriedly ran out into the hallway. "Guards!" she screamed. "Guards, we need help quickly." 3 of them answered the call. "What happened, matey?" "I don't know. I think Nadine ingested something harmful. You need to get her to my office, quick." "How?" "I don't know. Get creative with that." She left the guards behind and rushed to the other side of the palace, hoping she could already do something before they arrived. Running past the princess, who was still lying peacefully on her bed, she activated the blood testing machine. All her research regarding Nadine so far only encompassed day-to-day things, so she had no idea what symptoms she showed to what. Therefore, her only hope was this apparatus. Grabbing a syringe, she ran back. The guards, now 6 in total, had managed to get Nadine onto an oversized bed sheet and, rather than carrying her, dragged the package over the floor like a heavy sack. Not exactly dignified, but that wasn't something they could care about now. Guy quickly drew a blood sample, hoping the machine would be done by the time they reached her office, and rushed back. She put a drop in each of the testing tubes, every tick feeling like an eternity. The machine didn't have human blood registered in its system yet, so it didn't know what results to ignore. That only served to make the process even more tedious, as irrelevant compound after irrelevant compound popped up on the screen. Calcium, potassium, copper, magnesium. All things that would be concerning in other species but were irrelevant now. She had already analyzed the alien's blood once. She just needed the machine to show something that hadn't been there before. Finally, just as the guards managed to drag Nadine in, the test showed a relevant result, and it was one that left all the strength leaving Guy's body. All the haste she had felt until now was gone, and only despair remained. "What now, Doc?" one of the guards asked. It almost hurt the doctor to move her mouth. "Nothing." "Nothing? What do you mean, nothing?" "There is nothing to do. I can't help her." Hearing a groan, Guy jumped to her feet. It was early morning, and the doctor had skipped another night. Unable to stop Nadine from succumbing to the poison, all she could do was attempt to keep her stable and hope for a miracle. And somehow, one had come. While her body had gotten hot for a while, her breath and pulse had quickly become calm and steady. No further reactions to the toxin had shown themselves. She was just lying on her bed sheet on the floor, peacefully. The only way Guy could explain this was that whoever had done the deed underestimated her body mass and mixed too little in her food. It was probably the weird taste she had noticed. But who had done it, and when, and how? Unfortunately, things were far from good. It was still all but guaranteed that she had suffered permanent neural damage. It was probably especially bad for her since her brain had such high and fast computing power. Wherever the damage would manifest exactly, she would definitely have to live with severe impairments from now on. Nadine? Oh, by the first ones, you're awake. Loud. Sorry, what did you say? Could you talk not so loud, please? And maybe turn off the light. Oh, my head is killing me. What happened? She talked much slower than before. Guy nodded and followed her request before taking notes. She quickly needed to assess all long-term symptoms. The headache would probably be the least of them. Nadine, I need you to stay calm. This will probably come as a shock, but someone tried to poison you. Huh? She sounded more confused than shocked. Poison? With what? With alcohol. The doctor was stumped despite. Nain rolled to her side and closed her eyes again, despite her hangover, indicating her calm demeanor. A voice called for the doctor from the destroyed door. Turning her head, she saw two guards and the guard captain. She signaled for them to be quiet before stepping into the hallway. I see you're back, Captain, she greeted him, once they were far enough away from Nain to avoid disturbing her. How did your investigation go? I take it you know the suicide of the culprit was likely staged, the doctor said. Yes, Nain told me. Speaking of, how is she? The captain asked. To my absolute surprise, she's alive. But despite her luck, there are severe long-term consequences to be expected. Which ones exactly, I cannot tell yet. Ethanol is incredibly dangerous, the doctor replied. The captain nodded. I see. When my men told me the name, I asked around. You can't just acquire this stuff normally, right? Correct. Because it is so potent and there is no known antidote, you need a special research license to purchase it. But you have such a license, right? The captain asked. The comment made the doctor stop. I do. I don't see how that is relevant, though. It is relevant because I have to ask you to come with me, the captain stated. It took her a moment to process what he had just said and to understand what he was hinting at. You must be joking. Most certainly not. Are you? Why would you even think that? The captain questioned. Well, you were one of the few who knew about her theory of the staged suicide. Maybe you wanted to silence her, the captain suggested. Why would I want to wait? Are you saying I attempted to assassinate Her Highness? That makes no sense. I was the one who saved her, she shouted, fuming at his audacity. Maybe you didn't want her to die. Just take her out. I don't know. I mean, our only source that she is fine now and will soon wake up is you. After all, the captain countered. True. I don't know what you would hope to gain from this, but you see, by the time the maid in question was shot, you weren't back to the palace yet but arrived shortly after, meaning you could have been in the city. You were one of the few who knew about Lady Nain's suspicion. You were the one who gave her the poisoned meal, and despite alerting the guards, you were rather quick in announcing that she was beyond saving. The captain pressed on. Yes, because as I said, there is no known antidote against ethanol. It's a deadly neurotoxin. She took a breath. All right, if you say it like that, there's a hint in my direction. I'll give you that much, but that's not nearly enough. I might be of low rank, but I'm still a noble and in service of the Star Palace. You can't accuse me unless you have either Her Highness's order or solid evidence. That is true, the captain agreed. Then, instead of chasing her words, he held a data pad in her face. What she saw made her freeze. It was a bill of delivery for a small shipment of ethanol, ordered with her license. What do you say? Does this qualify as solid evidence?